temperature's still not regulated correctly, so I've been to the engineer there to come back and
That's why
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for being here. We're going to get started in about 5 minutes.
Yeah, I just take them all. So, I'll be quiet on them. They were bad. They had water in them. Oh, no.
Testing 1, 2, 3. Testing 1, 2, 3.
I'm a bit
Testing 1, 2, 3. Testing 1, 2, 3.
You're supposed to be talking to TBS 24/7.
No, I think you've got a seat over there somewhere.
Oh, I didn't see it, sorry. You didn't hear me either. Yeah. Hey. Nice day, Dave. What's over there? There's a hole. Later. Yeah. There's Chris. Yeah, move back. No money.
Look at
Good morning, everyone. Can you hear me okay?
Yep.
Everyone on the other side of the park, can you hear me? We're going to get started in 1 minute. Testing. Testing 1, 2, 3. Testing 1, 2, 3. Good morning, everyone, and thank you for being here today to celebrate our Freedom 250 event, celebrating America's 250th birthday. My name is Christy Lattimore Staple. I'm the Public Affairs Chief here for VA Northern California. I just first would like to say it is an honor to be here with all the veterans. It's an honor to be able to celebrate all of you in this manner. So we're going to get started with the posting of the colors.
if y'all would join me in saying the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
If we can next have Patricia Robels come forward to sing the national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in the air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Next, we'll have, you can please seat. Say I take a seat. We'll next have Chaplain Carolyn Talmadge come forward to do the invocation.
Good morning. Would you please join me in prayer? Gracious and eternal God, today we gather with grateful hearts as we celebrate 250 years of our nation's story. We remember those who first dreamed of liberty and those who risked everything to make it real. We remember those who pledged their lives, their fortunes, and their sacred honor to build a new nation. We remember those who have served in every generation: soldiers, sailors, Marines, airmen, guardians, Coast Guardsmen, and merchant Marines who stood watch for the freedoms that we cherish. We remember those who built this country day by day with labor, sacrifice, faith, and hope. Remember those who came seeking opportunity and those who welcomed them. We remember the teachers and farmers, workers and healers, parents and neighbors whose daily faithfulness holds our nation together. We remember those who called us to live more fully into our highest ideals, reminding us that liberty and justice are always an unfinished work. And we remember those whose names are known to history and those known only to you. Here at the VA, we give you special thanks for our veterans and their families. Bless them for their service, sustain them in their needs, and help us honor them with faithful care. As we look forward to the future, give us wisdom to do what is right, courage to serve the common good, humility to listen, and compassion for one another. May we be faithful to what we have inherited and help shape what comes into what next comes into something more just, more united, and more hopeful. We ask this in your holy name. Amen.
Thank you. Now I would like to have our Medical Center Director, David Stockwell, to come forward with our opening remarks.
Well, thank you and good morning. Thank you so much for all of you that have turned out today, whether you're just here enjoying in the audience, whether you're one of the many collaborators with the information booths and the festivities that are here. And honestly, we couldn't have asked for better weather today. So fantastic to be here with all of you. You know, as a young man, when we did the bicentennial celebration, I wouldn't have dreamed that I'd be standing up at the 250th celebration of our country, honoring America's heroes and veterans. So it's just an honor to be with you here today. If I haven't met you before, as she said, I'm David Stockwell. I'm the Medical Center Director here at VA Northern California Healthcare System. 250 years ago, America was born from an idea that freedom was worth the fight. We weren't perfect at the beginning, but our founding fathers entrusted us with a mission to build a more perfect union. And throughout every chapter of that journey, one constant has preserved this nation: the men and women who raised their right hands and swore to defend it. Veterans didn't just protect our democracy, they built it. And many of them bled for it. That's why we're gathered here today, to honor the extraordinary courage, sacrifice, and service of America's veterans. From the very beginning of our story, service has come from every corner of American life, including from those whose own freedoms were limited or denied. During the American Revolution, Black soldiers, both free and enslaved, fought for a freedom they'd not yet been guaranteed. Between 5,000 and 9,000 African Americans served the Patriot cause, nearly 4% of the Continental Forces. They fought in every major battle from Lexington and Concord to Yorktown. Names like Crispus Attucks, the first to fall in the Boston Massacre, Prince Estabrook at Lexington, and soldiers like Stacey Williams and Andrew Pebbles remind us that Black Americans helped define the meaning of liberty long before liberty belonged to them. They were not alone. Native Americans fought in the Revolution as allies. Scouts, defenders of a homeland older than the nation itself. Tribes like the Oneida fought alongside the Patriots, providing food, intelligence, and crucial support that changed the course of key battles. Latino patriots, often overlooked in our early history, also helped secure America's independence. Bernardo de Galvez, the Spanish governor of Louisiana, led thousands of Latin American, indigenous, and Afro-Hispanic troops against the British forces along the Gulf Coast, cutting off supply lines and weakening the British advance. Asian Americans, though a smaller population at the time, also contributed. Filipinos served as sailors and laborers in Spanish-controlled territories, supporting the Patriot effort and beginning a centuries-long tradition of service. I'm going to turn the page and chapter on my discussion here for a moment. All right. We must also recognize the incredible impact of women veterans, whose service is woven through every era of American history. Even when they didn't have the same rights as men, though they could not vote, own property freely, or serve openly in uniform, women still stepped forward. They disguised themselves to fight the Revolutionary War, served as nurses and lifesavers in the Civil War, flew aircraft and tested weapons in World War II, broke barriers in Korea and Vietnam. Today, they serve in every military occupation, command units, lead deployments, and stand on the front lines. Their courage helped our nation move closer to the ideals of equality and freedom for all. And their service continues to strengthen the fabric of our military and our nation. All of this reminds us of a powerful truth. The fight for America has always been a fight led by Americans of every culture, every background, every community, and every generation. From the first musket fired to this very moment in time, every generation has taken up its own defense of this country. Washington at Valley Forge, Lincoln at Gettysburg, a 19-year-old from Detroit storming the beaches of Normandy, a combat medic in Fallujah, pulling a friend to safety. These aren't just stories, they are the moments that forged this nation. And throughout these centuries, the VA, though in its earliest forms, stood beside those who served. Even before independence, the Plymouth colony passed laws to care for wounded soldiers. The Continental Congress later offered pensions to those who fought in the Revolution. Over time, those promises formed into a system, and that system became a mission to serve those who served. Not with words alone, but with action, care, and results. 2.5 centuries give us a moment to reflect, commemorate, and celebrate our country and its people who continue to thrive. Here at VA Northern California Healthcare System, we're proud to carry this mission forward. Through expanded primary specialty care, whole health programs, women veteran services, mental health services, suicide prevention initiatives, telehealth expansion, rural care outreach, caregiver support, our homeless veteran program, our groundbreaking research, our commitment remains the same: to ensure every veteran receives the care, respect, and dignity that they have earned. This nation owes our veterans a debt too great to fully measure. Their sacrifices have shaped our freedoms, our institutions, our very national identity. Let's take a moment to reflect on that journey. In 1775, before the Declaration of Independence, the Continental Army was formed. Under Washington's leadership, the colonies secured their freedom. Less than a century later, the Civil War tested the very core of our principles. Leaders like Grant, Sherman, Clara Barton, and President Lincoln left a mark we still feel today. In 1873, Congress authorized the Buffalo Soldiers, legendary Black Cavalry Regiment whose courage on the frontier protected the young nation and pushed America closer to its ideals. The 20th century brought global challenges: World War I, World War II, Korea, Vietnam, and more recently, Iraq, Afghanistan. Through each conflict, Americans from every racial, ethnic, and cultural background stepped forward to defend our freedom. And the VA has evolved to meet their needs. From the Veterans Bureau that founded in 1921 to the creation of the Veterans Administration in 1930 to the establishment of the Department of Veterans Affairs in 1989. Today, the VA continues to lead the nation in things like innovation, from performing the first liver transplant to developing the nicotine patch. I guess we should if we gave too many cigarettes out during combat times, to pioneering advances in prosthetics, to groundbreaking research in PTSD, mental health. VA remains at the forefront of science and care. And now, using modern tools like artificial intelligence, we're giving clinicians more time to do what they do best: provide world-class care to our veterans. Our benefits teams in the VA are processing claims at historic rates. Our national cemeteries are providing fallen heroes with honorable and peaceful resting places, and every day, VA Northern California stands ready to serve those who have served us. That's why the Freedom 250 celebration that you're here for today, it matters. Not only because we reached a milestone, but because we're still writing America's story. Veterans will continue to shape the next chapters in our future, and the VA will continue to stand beside them, just as we always have. As we observe our 250th anniversary of our nation's founding, let us honor our origins while striving to continue to build a more perfect union. Let's honor our veterans, not only for shaping American history, but for carrying American values with them every day. Thank you again for being here today, for celebrating our country, for honoring veterans. May God bless our service members, our veterans, and their families.
Thank you, Director. Before we start our ceremony that we've all invited you here for, I want you all to know that all the pictures that you see were restored from its original version. Some of them were really just faded or had other images that you couldn't clearly see anymore. So I just would like to thank Quentin, our visual information specialist, who digitally restored all of these photos. Now I would like to bring up our Assistant Director, Mariko Thomas, and our Deputy Associate Director, Kristen Brown, to start with the announcing of the names of all of our honorees today.
Good morning, everyone. May we ask the honorees after we read to either wave, or if you can stand, then please stand and then wave so that we can recognize you. Al Taubman, U.S. Army, World War II. Veteran Al Taubman enlisted in the United States Army on September 4, 1941, serving with distinction in North Africa, Italy, and across Europe during World War II alongside General Patton. Born on April 2, 1916 in Brooklyn, New York, to Hungarian immigrants Joseph and Bertha Taubman, Al recently celebrated his 110th birthday, an occasion honored in Community Living Center. Although Al could not join us today, we are proud to recognize his remarkable story.
Good morning. Our next veteran that we recognize is Stanton Bill, United States Navy, Marine Corps, Vietnam, and Korean War. Veteran Stanton Bill was born in Philadelphia on March 17, 1937. At just 15, driven by a deep sense of duty, he enlisted into the United States Navy, serving at the 30th Service Division in aboard PCR 853. After completing boot camp in Bainbridge, Maryland. It was 1952, and young Bill was ready to serve his country, beginning his journey as the 30th Service Division, 4th Naval District in Pennsylvania. His determination took him through the Navy boot camp in Maryland and into service aboard Supreme Ship PCR 853. 2 years later, it was discovered that he was underage. He was honorably discharged, only to re-enlist the very next day. This time legally, into the United States Marine Corps. As one of the first waves of black recruits at the Paris Island following President Truman's inauguration order, Bill helped break barriers from the very start. After graduating in 1954, he trained as an aircraft structural mechanic and was engaged and assigned to the 1st Marine Air Wing in Japan at the end of the Korean War. His pioneer career continued In 1966, he became the Marine Corps' first black engineer on the KC-130F, flying critical aerial refueling and combat support operations and missions during the Vietnam War, including fights in the dangerous Assoy Valley. Hill's expertise also took him to Antarctica as part of the Operation Deep Freeze. In 1970, he and his crew completed the longest flight in Marine Corps history, from Bakhmut Station to Russia Vostok Station. He earned his Antarctic Exhibition Medal, along with the recognition from President Richard Nixon. Over 21 and a half years of service, Gunnery Sergeant Hill earned numerous honors, but most cherished the chance, as he said, for a boy from the streets of Pennsylvania or Philadelphia to travel the world 12 and a half times a year.
Barbara Knapp, U.S. Army Nurse Corps, Vietnam War. Veteran Barbara Knapp proudly served as a captain in the United States Army Nurse Corps from 1968 to 1971. Her service began in Vietnam, where she provided critical care while rotating between surgical intensive care and the emergency room, two specialties that would guide her entire career. She went on to serve at Fort Bragg, North Carolina on recruiting duty, and at White Sands, New Mexico, offering compassionate and expert nursing support throughout each assignment. After leaving the Army to marry and begin a family, she continued her calling in healthcare, ultimately retiring from Roseville Community Hospital, where she remained devoted to the same medical specialties she practiced in uniform. Today, we honor Captain Knapp's dedication, her service to soldiers, and her lifelong commitment to caring for others.
Thomas Haley, United States Navy, Vietnam War. Veteran Thomas Haley proudly served as an aviation ordnance man in the United States Navy during Vietnam War, a chapter of service he considers one of the greatest honors of his life. As a member of VA 146, he deployed abroad US 66 CV-64, contributing to air operations with dedication and professionalism. Inspired by his father, a World War II Navy veteran, he grew up understanding the meaning of service and carried the legacy forward with pride. Veteran Haley Thomas reflects his time in uniform with deep gratitude, never regretting a moment, and will gladly serve again if given the chance.
David Kellis, U.S. Army, Vietnam War. Veteran David Kellis Sr. proudly served in the United States Army from 1968 to 1971, stationed in Germany during the Vietnam War. His service provided vital support to the U.S. military mission during a pivotal period in our nation's history. Today, we honor veteran David Kellis' commitment, his dedication, and the steady contribution he made during a time of great global challenge.
Karen Wilson Randall, United States Army, Cold War. For more than 30 years, Karen Wilson Randall was proudly served both in the nation and the veteran community. First as a dedicated military service member and as a Morse intercept operator from 1989 to 1998. Later, Randall served a long career in the United States Department of Veteran Experience as a veteran outreach representative. Throughout these roles, they have led to integrity, demonstrated unwavering commitment to others, and made a meaningful difference in lives of veterans, families, and community partners. Supporting veterans in assessing benefits, resources, and essential services has been essential, rewarding, allowing her to continue a lifelong service by dedicating and advocating for those like herself. She takes great pride in the relationship built, challenges overcome, and lasting and positive impact made throughout her career. Let's give her a round of applause.
Kevin Houchin, U.S. Navy, Cold War. Kevin Houchin enlisted in the United States Navy in 1981 and served with honor in Fighter Squadron 31 aboard the USS John F. Kennedy until 1985. While at sea, he served as a plane captain on the flight deck, working long hours in demanding conditions. During a 7-month deployment to Beirut, he and his squadron maintained a continuous combat operations tempo with virtually no breaks, demonstrating resilience and unwavering commitment. He continued his service by joining the Navy Reserve in 1989, serving first in a bomber squadron in Alameda until the base closed, and later in a patrol squadron at Moffett Field in San Jose. He completed his Navy career in 1997, carrying forward a legacy of dedication, professionalism, and steadfast service to his country.
Debbie Geifert, U.S. Army, Cold War. Debbie began her military journey at just 17 years old, enlisting in the United States Army and training at the Defense Language Institute as a Russian linguist. In the late 1880s, she served as a voice interpreter with a top secret clearance, flying aboard EH-1H Hueys and Black Hawks. In Germany, she monitored surveillance transmissions during the final years of the Cold War. After completing active duty in 1989, she joined the California Army National Guard, retrained as a Chinook mechanic, and went on to become a flight engineer, accumulating more than 1,100 flight hours as the only woman on her crew for over 16 years. Her deployments included humanitarian missions to Panama in 1992 and 1995, as well as combat service in Operation Iraqi Freedom in 2003. Stateside, she supported wildfire response, research and rescue, troop transport, and even successful movement as Mars rover prototype. Debbie retired from military in 2006 and continued her commitment to service as a high school English teacher, retiring in 2025 after 2 decades of shaping and inspiring students. Let's give Debbie a hand.
Kimball Hobson, U.S. Air Force, Gulf War. Kimball Hobson proudly served in the United States Air Force from 1985 to 2000, dedicating 15 years to our nation and earning distinction as a Gulf War veteran. He served at Wordsworth, Barksdale, and Travis Air Force bases, rising to the role of crew chief on the KC-135A and KC-10, where he ensured the readiness of critical air refueling aircraft. In support of Operation Desert Shield and Operation Desert Storm, Mr. Hobson played a key role in historic missions, including participation in what was then the longest employed-deployed strike mission in Air Force history. He later concluded his service as a technical sergeant at Travis Air Force Base, serving as the KC-10 military liaison to Boeing. His dedication is reflected in multiple commendations, including the Air Force Achievement Medal, Air Force Commendation Medal, Air Force Longevity Service Award, Air Force Training Ribbon, and the Southwest Asia Service Medal. Let's give a warm applause to people.
Scott Pettingill, United States Air Force, Gulf War. Scott proudly served the United States Air Force from 1986 to 1991, earning distinction as a Gulf War veteran. During his years in uniform, he served alongside dedicated airmen and supported our nation's mission. The camaraderie, teamwork, and lifelong bonds formed during his service remain amongst his most cherished memories. Today, we honor Sergeant Pettingill for his commitment and lasting impact of his service to our country.
Aaron Isom, U.S. Navy, Gulf War. Aaron Derek Lewis Isom honorably served as a machinist mate, third class in the United States Navy from 1986 to 1996, completing 10 years of dedicated service. During his career, he served aboard the USS Reeves, USS Lang, USS Competent, and the USS Carl Vinson, contributing to the operational readiness of every command. In 1987, he supported escort operations for the USS Star through the Strait of Hormuz following the attack on that vessel. In 1989, he assisted in disaster response efforts after the Loma Prieta earthquake, helping provide wet steam to PG&E and to restore electrical service to San Francisco. Today, we honor veteran Aaron Derek Lewis Isom for his professionalism, dedication, and the vital role he played in both fleet operations and humanitarian support during his decade of naval service.
Joseph Johnson, United States Army, Operation Desert Shield, Desert Storm. Joseph honorably served in the United States Army, completing 5 years of service from 1989 to 1952. Enlisting in 1987 as a quartermaster 76 Victor, he completed basic training at Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri, followed by advanced individual training at Fort Lee, Virginia. He was stationed at Nuremberg, Germany from 1988 to 1991, where he served with the 103rd Combat Support Battalion, 7th Corps, 1st Armored Division. During this time, he directly witnessed historic global change, including the end of the Cold War and the reunification of Germany in November 1989. From December 1990 through 1991 of May, Veteran Johnson deployed in support of Operation Desert Shield and Operation Desert Storm. He contributed to the success of the United States in the coalition operations and liberation of Kuwait. Veteran Johnson comes from a long family tradition of military service, following the footsteps of his father, grandfather, uncles, brothers who also served in the armed forces. Today, we honor Veteran Joseph for his professionalism, commitment, and vital role he played in both overseas operations and supporting one of the most significant transitional periods in modern history. He continues his country to serve as a supervisory emergency management specialist for the VA NorCal, ensuring the essential care for veterans as they remain uninterrupted during emergencies and crises. Let's give him a hand.
Catherine Bassett, U.S. Air Force, Operation Iraqi Freedom, Operation Enduring Freedom, and Bosnian War. Catherine Bassett honorably served in the United States Air Force from 1985 to 2007, dedicating 22 years to our nation. She began her career on active duty as an F-15 crew chief, later continuing her service in the Air Force Reserve as a KC-135 crew chief, ensuring the readiness and reliability of critical aircraft throughout her tenure. In the final years of her career, Senior Master Sergeant Bassett served as a first sergeant, leading with compassion, discipline, and unwavering commitment to the airmen under her care. She deployed in support of Operation Iraqi Freedom, Operation Enduring Freedom, and the Bosnian War, contributing her expertise during pivotal moments in U.S. military operations. Today, we honor Senior Master Sergeant Bassett for her exceptional service, steadfast leadership, and lasting dedication to the mission and to her fellow airmen.
Rebecca Shotwell, United States Army, Kosovo War, Operation Enduring Freedom. Rebecca answered the call to serve the distinction during the Kosovo War from 1998 to 1999. She was stationed at Eagle Base, Tulsa, Bosnia, where she supported the 126th Medevac Unit as an aviation refueler, ensuring life-saving missions could launch at a moment's notice. Her dedication continued with an overseas deployment in support of Operation Enduring Freedom. She served with distinction with the 67th Quartermaster Unit out of Fort Hood, Texas. From 2002 to 2003, she further deployed to Camp Shamsi, positioned along the border of Pakistan and Afghanistan, where she continued to contribute to the critical operational support in a pivotal time in our United States military history. Today, we honor Rebecca for her unwavering commitment, her courage, and her enduring service to our nation. Let's give her a round of applause.
Francisco Carrillo, U.S. Army, Operation Enduring Freedom. Francisco Carrillo is a proud United States Army veteran whose 19 years of service across the Army Reserve, Army Active Duty, and the California Army National Guard embody dedication, leadership, and unwavering commitment to duty. He supported major missions including Joint Task Force 160, Operation Sea Signal, and Operation Iraqi Freedom 2, serving in roles from administrative specialist to operations non-commissioned officer in a CERFP unit. His most defining service came as a staff sergeant in Alpha Company 579 Engineers, where he led with steadfast resolve during a demanding deployment to Iraq, always prioritizing the safety and well-being of every soldier under his care. Today, Francisco continues his legacy of service as the patient experiences specialist for the Northern California healthcare system, drawing upon both his military experience and his advanced degrees in business and healthcare administration to support our veterans with the highest level of dedication.
Rita Halshin, United States Marine Corps, Operation Iraqi Freedom, Operation Enduring Freedom. Rita began her career in service in the United States Marine Corps in 1981, proudly serving 3 years of active duty as a diesel mechanic. After a 16-year break in service, she answered the call again following 9/11, returning to uniform as an Air Force reservist, where she served for another 17 years in the Chaplain Corps. Her second chapter of service included 2 deployments to Iraq, where she provided spiritual support, compassion, strength to our service members in challenging environments. Today, we honor veteran Rita for her dedication across 2 branches of service, her commitment to others, and her continued legacy and resilience and devotion. This morning we've honored several veterans today, but at this time I'd like for all the veterans to stand so you can be recognized at this point. Thank you all for your service.
All right, what a celebration, what a recognition, to see the youthful faces on the pictures and the seasoned wisdom of the same folks here in the audience today is pretty special for all of us. So it's time to say happy birthday to America, to enjoy some cake and refreshments that we've got at the table right behind us, to make sure that you take a chance to visit many of our partners and tables of information that are here. Thank you so much for making it a memorable 250. Happy birthday, USA. God bless America, and thank you for coming today.